What is going on, guys? My name is Phamily Shucks, and welcome back to another episode of Clash of Clans. We're going to be looking at another episode in our 3-star classroom playlist, and the reason I decided to put this here instead of in the plan and produce is because of the Town Hall level differentiation. This one is for Town Hall 9, and the other one will be for Town Hall 10, specifically my attacks, and also in here I'll also mix up my attacks as well as the attacks of others. So this playlist is an old playlist that I started way back then, and of course I did not know that it would evolve into what I have right now. So this series is still a mixture of a plan and produce, with the exception that it is for Town Hall 9s. So without further ado, we're going to be looking at this base by Wombo Combo King. Now in reality, this is my attack because WCK actually quote-unquote retired and lost interest in the game, so he generously lent his account to me as well as a few others. So as of currently, I am in control of WCK until further notice. So this is a Town Hall 9 variation of a DF base. Now DF obviously stands for Dragonflower, which many of you guys should know if you watch high-level gameplay, especially with Town Hall 10s. Now the reason DF bases are not that great, or not great at all for Town Hall 9s, is just due to the fact of how symmetrical it is, and you do not want a symmetrical base as a Town Hall 9 because of how it allows for easy deployment on the base and on each defenses, and you'll see just what I mean in this replay. I'm going to be attacking this base with an AQ Healer Walk, Hybrid CB LaLoon, and that is a lot of words, but it is very simple when you watch the replay, and I'm going to be starting my AQ Healer Walk from the direct south. So starting from this mortar right here, I'm going to be placing my Arch Queen right here, as well as 2 minions. Now the reason I decided to place 2 minions here is to exploit the Dragonflower base and place it on defenses that could not target the air, which is very simple. And I'm placing the minions here in order to create the funnel, so that way it forces my Arch Queen to walk clockwise. And that is due to the fact that I want to begin my hybrid portion right here in order to get the Arch Queen. So basically, I'm going to let my Arch Queen walk all across this left-hand side as well as up on the top left-hand side, and that is going to take at least a minute. So in reality, this actual attack takes about a minute or a little bit over a minute, which is really fast-paced. So I'm going to have to time it perfectly in order so that I do not run out of time, and also so that I can be able to work through the base as fast as possible. So by creating the funnel, I'm going to be taking out a multiple amount of defenses, and that is going to be including this mortar, wizard tower, archer tower, air defense, cannon, mortar, wizard tower, and basically everything on this left hand side. And that is going to do a great job of making a nice funnel for my loons, as well as eliminating a lot of defenses, so that way I do not have to use a lot of loons to work through this base. So basically, while my Arch Queen is still walking across this left-hand portion, oh, that is still white. Yeah, there we go. Once this cannon right here starts to target her, as well as this mortar, I'm going to be placing a wizard right here, and that is just mainly due to the fact that I want to reduce the amount of buildings that she takes out and spends less time on these outside buildings before she works inside the base. Now also, once she reaches this kind of checkpoint right here, that is when I'm going to begin my hybrid portion. So I'm going to be placing my golem right here, attracting the attention of the existing wizard tower and also this archer tower. Now, also in the meantime, I also placed a wizard up here in order to create the funnel, so that way my Barbarian King and also my Arch Queen do not wander off where I want them to go. And also I'll be placing a wizard right here once the Arch Tower and Wizard Tower locks onto the Golem. Now, once my Archer Queen begins to make her way towards this portion, I place a jump spell right here. Let's use pink. Jump spell right here in order to access these 2 compartments from the outside and also into this big DF compartment right here. And that allows me to access obviously multiple compartments at the same time, as well as be able to take out the air defense in this compartment. So the goal of this entire hybrid was to basically eliminate this whole portion of the side, as well as be able to access the air sweeper, because when you're using an air attack, you want to at least eliminate one air sweeper, so that way you can attack the backside of the other air sweeper. And that is great because obviously you won't be fighting against an air sweeper the entire time, so it'll allow for easier access to the base, and also basically you'll be attacking a base without any air sweepers at all. So with that being said, I'll be attacking this base on this side in order to eliminate this air sweeper right here, so that way I'll be able to work at least clockwise again on this base with my LaLoon portion. So now with the hybrid, I'm going to be placing my poison spell right here because this was a second attack, but the first attacker did not get a star on the base, so I am still viable for a full 3-star attack. Now with this, I'm going to be placing my poison spell right here because in his clan castle, the first attacker found out that there was a dragon and also 10 archers. So the 10 archers would die instantly to the poison spell. Now the dragon, just like the guide from the last video, which many of you guys seem to not like, I don't know why, but I placed a rage spell right here in order to not only accelerate my golems into the base, or just my one golem, so that way this expo right here would target that golem and not my heroes, but also so that when my arch queen sat in this rage, she would be able to take out the dragon like a piece of cake. And also, with the Barbarian King in this area, he would walk over to the Archqueen and take her out, no problem. But also, don't forget that we also eliminated this expo right here, and also this Archer Tower. So overall, my hybrid portion was very successful. You can see right here, if we split this down, I basically eliminated half of the base with just my AQ Healer Walk and also my CB hybrid portion. And now that is a lot of the base, and then I don't have to worry that much because I only have to focus on the other half of the base. So with that being said, I'm going to be starting my LaLoon attack. We're going to be using pink for the hounds and red for the loons. So with this, I'm going to be placing my hound right here. Oh, it is still white. White is fucking me up. So with that, I'm going to be placing my hound right here and placing at least a couple loons on each of these defenses. And this, with my hybrid portion, it created a lovely funnel, so that way my LaLoon portion only went in one direction, which is this way, because I'm going to be working this way towards that air sweeper and also to that second air defense and second expo. So once I place the deployment there, I'm going to be placing a few loons on this arch tower once the hound was in range of that arch tower right here. And then once that happened, I placed my second hound. Now, it wasn't really necessary, but we found out that there was dual Teslas right in this spot, so I did not want my hounds to, or my first hound right here from this first deployment to pop too early without having my loons have any protection from these defenses. So I placed my second hound as a reinforcement, as well as followed up with a few other loons on these two defenses in order to create that nice funnel, like I said, in the same direction. So once that happened, I placed my final hound in this direction right here to obviously get the attraction of the last and final archer tower, and then I placed a few loons. Now I did save one loon for back end because I did realize that there was one cannon right there that I did not manage to take out, so I used him, or the loon, in order to place this once this air defense was targeting the hound right here. So in terms of spell placement, it was very simple. I placed one rage spell right here in order to accelerate the loons past the wizard tower and into the second air defense, and also to obviously work quickly so they don't get taken out that early in the raid. And also I placed a second rage right here because there was a fair amount of defenses, including the dual Teslas, which would take a good amount of time for my loons to work through, and also there was a wizard tower nearby, so I did not want to spend so much time in that area before they get taken out. And basically from there, with this movement and nice pathing, I was able to easily get the 3-star with a fair amount of loons left in this raid. And there was, of course, a few cleanup left to do, so I did bring a few cleanup troops, mainly minions. There was 3 minions, and I just placed them on the top hand side right here. And basically, that would wrap up this entire AQ Healer Walk LaLoon strategy on this DF base, which was very poorly designed, in my opinion, not just because I 3-starred it, but also because DF bases are not that great for Town Hall 9s. So without further ado, let's just look at a nice, messy overall look of this plan, and without further ado, let's just jump right into the replay. Alrighty guys, so here we are with the replay, and like I said, we're going to be first starting off my attack from the south hand side, and first I'm going to be placing 2 minions in order to exploit the base and create that funnel. Now once my Archqueen took some hits, I placed down the 2 healers so that way they would help regen her health, and I did have to use the Archqueen's ability a little bit early just due to the amount of DPS she was taking from the Arch Tower and also the cannon, and now I did speed it up so that way we did not have to watch her take out storages in normal speed, which would obviously kill us of boredom and make us sleepy. So the healers did take some hits when they were in range of the air defense. Now sadly I was not able to preserve the health of both my healers for the entire duration of this raid because they did die off coming towards the second air defense. Now, like I said, once the Arch Queen was in range of that cannon, that's when I decided to place my hybrid portion down with one golem and also placing one wizard on the dark barrack, so that way it would reduce the amount of buildings that my Arch Queen spent on these buildings outside. So I waited a little bit to place down my heroes once I placed down the jump spell, which did access the outside and also the inside compartment. Now the reason I did that and also placing the rage was so that it would accelerate my golem into the base a little further more and also soak up a lot more damage from these other defenses, so that way my heroes could walk in nice and easy without taking too many hits. Now the Arch Queen is still sitting in that rage and she's going to be taking out that dragon nice and easy, and once that air sweeper goes down, that is when I'm going to begin my LaLoon portion. I didn't wait because I knew that it'd be crunch time if I waited any longer for my Arch Queen to maybe take out a few extra defenses. So I follow the general rule of placing heavily in the beginning and decreasing the amount of troops you place towards the end, and that is basically what I follow and what I kind of do every single time I use a hog attack or maybe a LaLoon attack. And like I said in the beginning of this video, the reason you do not want to have a symmetrical war base for Town 9 or create a DF variation is because it allows for easy deployment and also easy pathing on a base like this. So if you are a Town 9, create non-symmetrical bases for war. Now the final air defense is still alive, but there's just too many loons left on this raid for it to take out, and that is basically going to wrap up this raid because now there's just too many pups for cleanup and it's going to go by quickly. So hope you guys learned something a little bit today, a little bit rough on the edges for my commentating, but thank you guys all for watching and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.